This program is made possible by American Senior Benefits Wichita is all about your peace of mind. We specialize in asset protecting, safeguarding your health, planning your estate, and preserving your freedom of choice. We're here to work through all of this with you. American Senior Benefits Wichita proudly supports PBS Kansas. The Candle Club, a place where friends, food, and music come together. Currently, we offer live entertainment every night except Sundays. Enjoy our delicious specialty appetizers and the Candle Club Signature Prime Rib. More about upcoming events at candleclubwichita.com. Home Health and Hospice of Kansas is a locally owned and community-based provider. We offer quality health care to our patients and families, complete with love, warmth, and compassion. We'll take care of all of the details for you. More information at kansashomehealth.com. Welcome to Cedric Plaza Retirement Community. Our living options are designed to suit your specific needs and activities that you're sure to love. We believe you'll be able to see yourself here, enjoying time with friends and family. For more information, cedricplaza.org.
Welcome to Empowering Seniors. I'm your host, Katherine Ambrose, and today we're at the Derby Senior Center for a very special quilt show, and I'm with Jane Matney to tell us all about it. Welcome to the show, Jane.
Thank you for having me.
You're giving quilts away at a Veterans Day event, I understand. And what inspired this project?
We hadn't given away any quilts for 9 years. And so the administrator told us that we were going to, or asked us if we would give them quilts. And so in August, we told her we would. And she said, could she have 35 or 40? I think we came up with 50. I mean, we meet a challenge, and we meet it good and strong.
No kidding. 50 quilts in 2 months' time.
Yes, ma'am.
How many ladies worked on these quilts?
I think there was about 9 of us, and some of the girls have just recently joined us, but they're working on veterans quilts for the next time around. So we're going to be ahead like we were this time.
And I understand you did this 9 years ago. You gave quilts to veterans.
Yes, ma'am.
What caused you to choose this year to do it? Do you know?
The city building, I think, was taking care of that, and they asked us to participate. And of course, we love a challenge.
How long did it take you to gather up all the fabric that you needed to make all of these quilts?
Oh, that wasn't long at all. You just came over to my garage and got it out of my cabinet and started sewing.
And how long have you been saving fabric for veterans quilts?
For 9 years.
For 9 years.
Some of the girls had their material, but my material, I told the girls they could come over and get what they wanted. I forgot to get what I was going to use. So I was buying material, but it was fun.
Do you ever buy material online, or do you go around to different stores?
Just different stores, and people have given me material and from the Derby people here in town. I just use it.
The quilting group, is that an ongoing gathering of ladies that get together and quilt here at the center?
We meet every Thursday at 1 o'clock, and we've been doing it for years.
And I understand you bring your sewing machines in to the building.
Yes, ma'am, we do.
So you cart those in from your car into the building, and then you sew together for how long?
From 1 to 4 or 4:30.
Okay.
We'd probably stay later if they'd let us, but they say you have to be out by 5.
Mm-hmm. And so what projects are you normally working on? You've been furiously working on all of the Veterans Day quilts. What are some of the other projects that you've been working on?
Well, we have given to the Oaklawn baby shower, and we're going to start back and get 100 quilts for that because we didn't do it last year. So we're going to make our 100 for that. Plus we have receiving blankets, and we have burp cloths. And we have given to the police department, we've given to the care homes, we've given to Wichita Children's Home, we've given to the hospitals. Anybody that needs a quilt, we're giving.
What kind of responses do you get from recipients or their families sometimes?
Oh my goodness, it's a blessing to be able to do that. I mean, when you see the veterans with tears streaming down their eyes, they're so excited to get that because they had never gotten anything like that before. And they're so appreciative of it, and so are the people at the care homes and Andover Children's Home. I mean, it's a blessing to be able to give. I bet I've made over 1,000 quilts, and you know, I don't have a single one for myself.
That's incredible.
I give away everything because it's such a blessing.
That's really nice. Do you make quilts for your family members?
Oh my, yes.
Okay.
Yes, they were first in line. They were thrilled to death to know that I was learning how to do this. And that's their thrill every year to see what kind of quilt they're going to get. And last year, my daughter-in-law and my son couldn't decide which quilts they wanted, so they took 2. It's a blessing, and all year long I'm making quilts for that event and for my grandchildren. And my daughter says, "This is mine. This is mine." I said, "You can't have all of them."
Well, it's really special to have something that your mother or your grandmother or great-grandma made. So I can just imagine how they will be treasured. But I want to ask you, you surprised me that they were excited that you were learning to do this. So I assumed maybe you'd been making quilts your entire life.
I started making quilts when my husband started getting ill, and he was working 12 hours a day. I was working at a different shift, and so he was in bed by the time I got home, and I would take a class after I got off work. When he went to the care home in 2009, I realized I had to do something to stay busy. And so I jumped in with both feet and took every class I could take, and I wanted to know what I was doing and do it right.
Where does one go take quilt classes?
Oh, well, practically every quilt shop's gone out of business now, but I went to Prairie Quilt, I went to Hancock, I went to Sunflower, and gee, I think that's it. But that kept me busy. In fact, I had 76 projects to finish in my quilts that I had taken because I was working. I didn't have time to finish them, but I have started finishing them now. And that's a joy to my kids because I have 2 children. And they get to reap the rewards of those lessons that I took because every year they get a different style of quilt because I don't like making the same one twice.
And you had 76 projects to finish?
Yes.
Wow.
They're all in little plastic containers stacked in my sewing room, upstairs and downstairs.
Do you teach some of the ladies that come to the senior center?
Yes, ma'am. I'm in the process of teaching 2 of the girls now, I think it is. And they just recently joined, and they're excited about it.
Did they have any sewing experience?
They had some sewing experience, but it's a little different when you start making a quilt as far as learning how to cut and learning how to put it together and reading a pattern and everything. But I already had this material cut out, and of course it was red, white, and blue. And they started late in our sewing, so they didn't have time to get theirs finished, so we're going to be ahead for the next project whenever we do this again, like we were this year.
It's amazing, especially when I can look out here and see them all in one place. It's just, haven't been involved with them. It's still amazing to see them and to know that the veterans will appreciate them and love them. Well, I started quilting with this group in 2014 when I moved from Missouri to Derby, and it was a way to get acquainted with people, and I love quilting. I've got a long arm quilting machine at home, so this gave me something to do with it. For me, it's a joy to help other people learn how to quilt. And I get to do that, plus we end up with a product that we can give to charity.
I was trying to find something that I thought I'd really be interested in here at the Senior Citizen Center, and this kind of caught my eye, so I decided to try it, and I really like it. I finished my first quilt, and it's here today. It is really exciting, and Kay helped me so much. She told me what to do, and I did it.
I've been quilting probably when my children were small, and they're not small anymore. I would say probably 45 years. Started out slow, but once I met this group, I really turned it into high gear. For me, I always want to cry because it makes me so proud and so happy. I have a lot of veterans in my family, and I've made them all quilts, except one, which I'm going to do. But it just makes me realize how much these people put forth in their lives, being away from their homes and families and everything.
I started quilting back in 1957 when I was pregnant with my first child, and he's 64 years old. So I've been quilting off and on that many years. It's meant something that makes me feel good because, you know, when you're giving a quilt away, you know that you've put a lot of love and time into that, and most of the people appreciate what we have done for them. I am very excited to think that these men have kept my freedom for me and my family and friends. And I think it's a wonderful experience to be able to walk up to a veteran and present him with a gift that we have made with love.
I recently retired in December, and so I realized I needed to get involved with something, and so I haven't been quilting that long, really, not on this level. And so I called the senior center and asked about the quilting group, and met with Kay, and she helped me with the quilt I was working on, gave me some suggestions, and she told me, well, you ought to come on Thursdays. And so I decided to come on Thursdays, and here I am. I actually started with the group on the day they were asked to make the veterans quilts. And I thought, oh, sure, I'll help make veterans quilts. Why not? And then when we got started into it, I thought, oh my gosh, what have I stepped off into the world of sewing forever? So I knew my way around a machine. I understood the concept. And so I had never, though, been given fabric and told, make a quilt out of it. It's like taking puzzle pieces and trying to fit it together and make it look like something attractive, and that's a little bit hard to do. And so it's a bit of a challenge to take fabric and to cut it apart and then sew it back together into something that somebody's going to enjoy.
Are some of the quilts made by hand stitching, or are they all made with sewing machines?
Sewing machines. About the only thing we do with the hand stitching is when we put the binding on, some of us will sew the binding on top and then we'll hand stitch on the bottom. Like this quilt here is all this binding was all hand stitched on the bottom of it. But some of the girls like to go ahead and put theirs on by stitching it on top. So it's whatever they prefer.
And one of the quilts that we have here was made by someone that has only been quilting for 2 months.
Yes, ma'am.
That's incredible.
Yes, we're real proud of her.
And I would assume that someone that might like to learn that they don't need any sewing experience, that they can just start from scratch.
Start from scratch. There'll be somebody here that will teach them. Now, I didn't teach Barb. There was, Kate taught her. She knew her from another class and brought her over into our class. And so she kind of hand set by her every time and went ahead and kept her busy.
So if someone wanted to donate fabric that they have at home, or maybe purchase fabric for your quilting projects, I would imagine that would be well received.
Oh, would it ever, because we can always use materials. So if you want to purchase some, or if you want to donate some that you have, just call the senior center and bring it to the senior center. We'd love to have it because we go through material. When there's 11 of us working, material goes fast.
I would imagine there's a lot of us that have fabric in our homes that we've had forever, and it'd be great to see it get put to such great use.
Yes.
Jane, can you share with us kind of the social aspect of quilting and how working together has a group maybe has been fulfilling in people's lives?
Oh, lots of ways. We're all so relaxed and everything. We care for each other. And if we have a sickness in our family or something, like one of the girls had a daughter that was going through an illness and surgery, and we all prayed for her. So it's rewarding in many, many ways. And it's so relaxing to be able to meet with everybody every week and see what they're doing. We always have show and tell because we all sew at home. And it's just so rewarding and relaxing, and we all care for each other.
It gives you real purpose too, I would imagine, when you're trying to create 50 quilts in a 2-month time period.
Definitely. We did some hustling to get around and get that many done, but everybody pitched in and did a fantastic job, and it wasn't just one person doing it. Everybody pitched in and done their share, and I just appreciate all the girls and love every one of them.
So the Andover Children's Home is one of the recipients. Have you given quilts to them before?
Yes, ma'am.
How often do you do that?
When we get enough quilts, we try to take 25 out, but we don't want to take all of our quilts out in one place. We want to have some that if somebody else calls, that we can say, yes, we've got quilts for you. I even took some out there myself, and I totally enjoyed going out there and meeting the people out there that work with the children, and it's a blessing.
What does it mean to give quilts to the Children's Home? How are they used?
Well, these little kids come in there with nothing, and they get a quilt. They get to choose the quilt they want. And when they leave, they get to take that quilt with them, and all they have to take with them is a little bag. But one of those quilts is one that we have made and given them. And we're so delighted to be able to do that for them because it's their own personal thing that they have gotten while they are at the Children's Home.
That's really nice. And how do you select your quilts for the Children's Home?
Well, we have all different sizes, and we put the sizes on the outside of the bag of the quilt, and this way we can take care of teenagers down to little bitty babies. And so instead of the attendants that work out there taking the quilts out and handling them, they can just look on the package and see the size of the quilt, and they can see the design and the pattern as to, you know, if it's a, what am I trying to say, Bugs Bunny or something, you know, they can see what design it is, and it catches the kids' eyes. And they're happy to get something because they have nothing. And it's a blessing to be able to do that.
And the Oaklawn quilts, tell us a little bit about that project.
Oh, that's another joy too. That is, we put our quilts out on tables there, and the ladies come through and they get to pick out the quilts that they want. And of course we have them in the bags and everything. And they're so excited to get them because some of them don't have a baby quilt, you know, and they get lots of other things from other vendors out there as far as information on what to expect and how to take care of the baby and different things. And so it's educational, and yet they have stuff to take home with them whenever they leave there, and they're all excited about the quilts that they get.
I'm sure they are. That's a tremendous gift.
And we this year we're trying to get burp cloths and receiving blankets that we have started giving them. So that's going to be a plus. If we run out of quilts, we can give them a burp cloth and a receiving blanket, so there won't be anybody leaving there with nothing in their hands.
And are these items that you're making, are you making the receiving blankets and the burp cloths?
Yes, ma'am, we are.
How did all of this begin, this quilting group?
Well, My husband went to the care home in 2009, and I had to do something to stay busy, and I wanted to do something rewarding. And there was a girl at the care home where my husband was, and her dad was in the care home, and she wanted to learn how to quilt. And so we went from there. We started out with her. I went to Grief Share. I met another girl, got her roped in, and then another girl called me, and she wanted to see what we were doing, wanted to join, and I said, why don't you come down and check and see what we're doing, and we'll just go from there. Well, she came down, and at 1 o'clock we started working on this quilt, and at 9 o'clock we finished the quilt. We were making a strip quilt. I call it a strip quilt. It's like the one back over here in the back of this one, and 2.5-inch strips. And I was teasing her. I said, well, you're going to have to go out past the road to make this quilt. Just joking. We worked on it, or she worked on it. I didn't. She was making those stitches, and I was excited to see how it turned out, because not all the quilts turn out the same because they're all different. You couldn't make one the same if you tried. And so she was excited, I was excited, and she was popping her buttons off because she'd made a quilt, and we were thrilled. And so she decided she was going to be one of us then. So.
And this began in your home?
Yes, ma'am, around my kitchen table. So we outgrew my kitchen table. There was 9 of us at that time, and my table was stretched as far as it could stretch over into the living room, and my bar had a great big wide cutting table on it, and I had a board that was our ironing board, and that was on the other side of the bar, and I had another cutting board set up in the living room on a little round table. So we were just making quilts right and left and having a ball, but we were just outgrowing my table. So.
And then how did you get the idea to move that here?
Well, I was working with another group, sewing with another group at that time, and they needed a place to sew, and I found a place for them. I thought, well, I'll just call the senior center, and there was another administrator at that time, and she said, certainly, come on down. We've been down here ever since.
We talk about quilts, we talk about our families, we talk about events coming up or some that have passed. We talk about how much we love the senior center and just in general.
I know a lot of people in Derby, but I didn't know any of these women until I joined the group, and now I have more friends.
It gives me something to do, and I enjoy it. And I enjoy giving back to the community.
We come down here to the senior center, and we meet with these wonderful ladies, and we talk about our quilts, and we talk about different ideals that goes into quilting, and we give each other ideals about what we can do, and it's just helpful. It helps. I'm a widow, and it helps me pass the time away.
I had to make my own heirlooms. And my kids may or may not like them, but I told them I'd haunt them if they got rid of them.
I have a lot more friends than I ever thought I would here, especially the quilting group. They're all such wonderful women, and they're so helpful and understanding of everything. And I ask a lot of questions.
And so you started all of this. It must be very rewarding. You wanted something rewarding. You were seeking a rewarding project, and look what you've done, how you've enriched all these lives.
I'm glad we've stayed together, and there's harmony, and I love every bit of it. And I think they do too, or they wouldn't be quilting.
And then how you're touching people, just spreading love.
Definitely, definitely. That's the whole thing right there, is giving it away to somebody that can use it. But I think the most rewarding part was giving it to the veterans. I mean, they were so excited. They said that meant more to them than any medal they had ever received. And they would say, we're not going to use these. We're going to put them on the back of the divan and look at them. We're going to hang them on the wall. They're too nice to use. And I couldn't keep up with all of the quilt tops that we were making because there was only 6 of us at that time. 2 of the girls went on 2-week vacation, and we had from February to July to make 40 quilts. And so I hired this veteran to do this quilting with me. And so he was quilting the Golden Gate Bridge, the White House, the Eagles, fireworks, Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, all of this stuff on the backs of those quilts, and they were absolutely gorgeous, I mean.
Sounds like it.
And so it's just a blessing to be able to do this.
Jane, with that, I just want to thank you for your service, thanking those that have served our country and how meaningful that is, and taking care of the moms out there and the displaced children out there. It's just incredible. So thank you for your service on behalf of everyone in the community, and thank you for being on Empowering Seniors. You've inspired a lot of our viewers today, I'm sure.
Well, thank you for having us on, and I didn't do it myself. The girls did it too. They need
Absolutely.
just as much attention and acknowledgement as anybody else, because one person can't do it themselves.
That's for sure.
I just try to keep us together.
Well, thank you, Jane, and I'm sure that this will continue to go as the years go on.
Well, thank you very much. I have enjoyed it, and I'm going to continue quilting as long as I can hold a needle and push material through my machine. I love every bit of it.
Well, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching the program. If you have questions about this topic or any of the topics that we cover on this program, please reach out to us at empoweringseniors@kpts.org, or you can phone us at 316-686-4500. I'm your host, Katherine Ambrose. Thanks for watching Empowering Seniors.
This program is made possible by American Senior Benefits Wichita is all about your peace of mind. We specialize in asset protecting, safeguarding your health, planning your estate, and preserving your freedom of choice. We're here to work through all of this with you. American Senior Benefits Wichita proudly supports PBS Kansas. The Candle Club, a place where friends, food, and music come together. Currently, we offer live entertainment every night except Sundays. Enjoy our delicious specialty appetizers and the Candle Club Signature Prime Rib. More about upcoming events at candleclubwichita.com. Home Health and Hospice of Kansas is a locally owned and community-based provider. We offer quality health care to our patients and families, complete with love, warmth, and compassion. We'll take care of all of the details for you. More information at kansashomehealth.com. Welcome to Cedric Plaza Retirement Community. Our living options are designed to suit your specific needs and activities that you're sure to love. We believe you'll be able to see yourself here, enjoying time with friends and family. For more information, cedricplaza.org.